SHIHO.
Hey. Hey.
It's a little general. Remember, now, it doesn't begin now. It begins. No hand. This doesn't just begin now either. It's before the game starts. I'm already doing it.
Hey.
Yoki and Tori.
Hey.
It's the total connection.
Hey. Hey.
Hey. Training in a feeling, not just in physical movement.
Hey.
Can be switched to anything you want.
Hey. Hey.
Hey. Hey. Nice. Apart from everything I just said, the bait is here on this occasion. The response is here, or it's internally. So you're not really offering your wrist, you're offering the centre, and he has a chance to disturb it. And then you turn, which is what we often call hips before feet, centre before anything else. Of course, response before anything else. And the response begins, it's already there. It doesn't begin, as I said, it begins before it begins. It begins in the street outside, really. Hey! Hey! And the next point, the energy. It should run from your back leg out through your fingers. Hey! It shouldn't be like that. Dead. Shouldn't be. I know that used to be a way of doing it. Saito Sensei changed. And the pictures of her sensei are like this. My fingers are a bit curled, I can't do anything about that. But it's not so much where they're pointing. It's, you can feel it through your whole body. It's complete integration. Hey! Feel it in your back leg, your centre, all the way through. And not like this. That shouldn't appear at all. Little prod at the end. Hey! It's not how it looks, it's how it feels. Hey! 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 This is true of everything, not just Tanahenko. Tanahenko is just perhaps a supposedly simple form to set the feeling for what follows. Hey, Kmas! You don't know for sure. Hey! Until you feel my bite to lead you round. Uki should never preempt. Hey! 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 Yes. There's reasons for everything. 2 hands. This helps a certain sense of stability and of forward feeling. Not one hand. This one's not. It changes it quite a lot. See? sense of, well, got sense of what's got sense of. I can't put everything into words. But what this hand is doing is the same as what this hand is doing. We're off to Why is it called Kokyu Hole? Don't answer that. Why is it called Kokyu Hole? Why is it called Kokyu Nage and Yuki falls over? Purely rhetorical questions. Because it is a Kokyu exercise, not a throwing exercise. This is setting the scene for what comes after. Preparing the body's skills for Aikido, highlighting and developing them. What happens, unfortunately, is get them on the floor, any old body will do. Happens early on in your Aikido life and you carry on a bit like that. But it's not going to give you the full benefit. A couple of things to draw attention to. So, the most common is this tendency to stab. Yes! Oh, I got him. Yeah, I got him. Probably because I'm strong enough. But the Aikido skill is developed from several things. Whole body acting as a single unit, and the rotation. Rotation. Hold. This. Not this. This. The outside edge here bites. And that in turn will elevate this elbow. But you see, very senior people even, we've got to elevate that elbow. So, I've elevated the elbow. So the technique's going to work. With a shunt, hasn't developed my other techniques. Rotation. Now, this position. Because round, hips, keep that going. Here, strong now, Joe, strong. Not upper body, lower body. Not. this position, Saito Sensei used to do two things. He'd whip out a knife and stab him, or he'd strike him. It doesn't mean much to people. I'll show you why, it's quite amusing why. Too wide, I can still hit him. Why is that too wide? I can still stab him. But not if he's got his armour on or his flak jacket or whatever. You need to be close in, for this to be effective. For this to be hard, you need to be close in. You really have to close that gap to get the full benefit of the kokyu. Because all the power from the hips, yes, but the hip has limited range. So you have to not ask it to use, you can't use a hip movement to get range. Heavy and strongly. Now think downstairs. Occasionally we used to do this. Why don't we do that as the next exercise if you think you can? What it indicates is your upper body is not doing any work, not twitchy little fingers. Whole floppy hand. Stops you tightening your upper body. Same as we can do that exercise with tight ankle. Do a few like that. Rotation, the focus down. And don't neglect this part. You got it. No. Hey, yes. No. I don't agree with it. Well, it's one component of what I've understood about O-sensei's Aikido. So this is falling. This is rising. Now it's falling. And it works. That, without the rotation part, knocks him down. Feels not bad. It doesn't have this in it though, not fully. The way they do it in France, they still do it this way. Hey! It's probably quite a bad version of it, Tamura Sensei's Maratadori Kokyu. The complete emphasis is, in this point, is just drop it. Wasn't quite close enough there. It does work. Only, as I said before, we're not really concerned with does it work or not. It's all the components, all the ingredients. Close. But this is where we get it wrong. Because we turn out too much and we don't appreciate the settlement bit. And sometimes you can settle very early, you just have to feel the right moment. Now there's a lot of settling in there. My knees are dropping several inches. Trouble with Joe. You think you haven't got him. He's actually ripe for settling. Right for him. And if you mix it all up and integrate it without the pause, it may look like it's done with all rotation, but it's that part. And I always think we don't appreciate that nearly enough, how effective it is. So, make it yours. Yes. And we set the tone. grounded at that point. SHIHO NAGE, Amata. Hey, SHIHO NAGE, first point.
Hey.
You surround the joint with those two fingers. So the index finger is on the wrist, and those two are on the back of the hand. When you get round, this hand takes the hand, like so. So you can wrap. The feeling is of drawing the arm underneath.
Hey.
If you put this hand on the forearm, or if you end up like this, holding stronger, holding the forearm, it's very hard. Slide down onto the hand where you can actually, it's a close relation of kotogashi. Wrapping.
Hey.
Second point. Damn it. What's wrong with that? Other martial artists think SHIHO NAGE is a mistake because of you turn your back on your uke. In as much as, yeah, you do turn your back, but halfway through the technique, it's not like doing it just turning your back. This is more correct. Does it ring a bell? NAGE KOKYU. Hips before feet. Hips. Feet. You can hardly see it till it's pointed out. She's really strong there. And this takes the power away. Hey, nice. Yes, Nina, give us on the demonstration. Hey.
Hi. Hi.
Find it hard to get him to go down. Get him loose. A few of you have this trouble.
Hi.
It's a bit better this time, but the problem is coming back a bit. Too much gap here. So that's now difficult. If you are in that position, use your head on there to push. But that's a bodge. Well, there's nothing wrong with bodges. I mean, but if she was much closer in, so now rounds off her whole body, it'll be much easier. Come on. Throw is like that. Yes. Thank you.
Hey.
Well, when I make my turn, I want to be, see, actually behind him. And what I reckon is, he should have fallen by the time I'm round. I don't have to get round and then throw him. No, thank you. Now, if your uke is shorter than you, this becomes essential. Because you have to make your body a certain shape. See, I can't get under it. But I go round backwards, which is much easier. Makes me shorter. By the body, shape and power of Nikyu Happy New Year. The body, shape and power source of SHIHO NAGE are the same for that child. It makes a huge difference. One of the most difficult techniques is Munadori SHIHO NAGE. Because of a misunderstanding about how to do it. See, literally impossible. If you come under backwards, and she keeps her grip, quite easy. I don't want to try and go under that forward. See? And wrapping the arm, the option of the head, getting in deep. The most big mistake, so often, big mistake, is as you turn to come this way. Watch me. Correct position, that's not an option. Elbow on top of the head. There was a sensei said that, elbow on top of the head. There was a sensei who is now dead. What was his name? Can't remember his name. He read this and he started getting everyone doing SHIHO NAGEs like this, elbow on top of the head. Something like this. Someone was killed. Well, this is terrible. Most of the fatalities that happened in Aikido have happened through SHIHO NAGEs. Except what's always left out of that statistic is when they happened. And it was Japanese students copying American students in the universities. And what was it they call it? A sorority house. And they have these hazing things. The Americans do sort of sensible things like making you drink till you're insensible. Well, in Japanese universities they were getting hold of people and making them take high falls out of SHIHO NAGE. People who didn't even do Aikido, you know. And a few fatalities, landing on their heads and breaking their necks. We don't want to do that here. But that's usually left out of the story, just SHIHO NAGE is dangerous. Well, they're all dangerous if you do them disrespectfully and badly. But there's something to the said for the elbow on the head. Good posture is essential in Aikido. Absolutely vital. Good posture is what you do when you eat your dinner. You sit up straight. That's what goes in our minds. You know? Good manners, good posture. You know? Sort of, attention sort of things. But what's meant by good posture is the appropriate posture for what you're doing. Now, for this SHIHO NAGE, I can see us reluctant to do something, which is to round our backs. Round. That's why I use the Nikyu. Not to keep your head up and your back flat and hinge your hips. That doesn't have the same effect at all, because it doesn't have the rotation. So I can get right down there. getting back gives you a bad SHIHO NAGE. Right? Bad if you do that. You're open to being hit, and you've got nothing too far from your centre. But you can also duck back to a less, not such a bad degree, if you stick your tail out and keep it flat. See how that's happened? Not as bad as before, but this has come back. If you come round, now I want to go into him. That foot is going round there, and I'm rounding off. So I may end up something like that. But that's not the primary thing. It's not that. It's that. Nikyo. If you do your Nikyo, quite ineffective. Do it. You end up something like that. But it's the mechanism by which you get there that counts, obviously. So, Keith's got quite tight shoulders, which is not criticism, just a reality. So I know it's going to need to be small. This area here. See, tucking itself in nicely there, that's all right. No problem. Because I made myself small too. Someone who's you can stretch out. Usually someone much younger. It's different. You've got a different set of problems because they can rotate with you. The guy who's like this, you need to keep it small. But that's on the side. This shape. This shape. Hey, all yours. SHIHO NAGE Ura. I could have said all this on the Emoto, but I'll say it now on the Ura. No SHIHO NAGE is 180 degrees. One here. No SHIHO NAGE is towards Danny there. Towards into him. It's more like 90 degrees further. See? And takedown is a slight rotation. I don't often emphasise that, but it's very important actually. Partly it sort of, anyone's trying to get round you to have a go, they can't work out where he's going. But the reason we don't emphasise it is because people turn not this far and then they will pull sideways. And now what he's got to do is take a high fall over the top. Turn towards it. Show everyone where it would be, you didn't have to do it. Oh, the other way. That way, yeah. And some dojos really specialise in those falls. Taking that. Do that to me without trying. So it takes me to there. That's it. But I can hit him. I can grab his collar and stop it. This is what Saito Sensei says. So although it's nasty on the arm, it's not good SHIHO NAGE. You want to be nasty on the arm. Bah! That's the way to do it. With the Koshi. And now he does have to cooperate a lot more. SHIHO NAGE, Ura. A little bit of that rotation. Rotating down. So So you turn in and rotate out. Which will also stop that error of having the wrong leg forward. That should come into there. Here, you can reach up, grab my shoulder, throw me over there. Here, much harder. Yes.
Hei. Hei.
Hei.
Hei. Hei.
Hei.
Arrow crept in. Which was that you turned all the way nicely and then you brought that foot in. This should have been the front foot.
Hei.
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 Okay, so let's look. So, an error has crept in as a result of what I just said. That's often the case. So when I said you turn into him more, I didn't mean that you brought that foot in. A few of us were doing that. You just turn your hips in. Basis of it is 180-degree powerful turn. Go that bit further. And then and that foot travels, but it doesn't go forward. That turn is not to be done as that foot stepping out. It's not to be done like so. So there. So the axis changes, but not the foot, not the feet. Not to there, but to there. That foot doesn't stray. It may move as it turns, very slightly, but not. Yes. We've covered this already. Position you do not want. You do not want this position. No, you don't want it. There's several things wrong with it, not the least of which is it's nicely on balance. Less obvious, especially if you're a bit taller, is if you end up there, the chances are you've gone here with your hands behind your head, and you can throw me easy there. Hey. So you want his hand here. Now I'm back. You see the position again that we talked about earlier. By the time I get round there, I want him thrown. So the upward curve of my body, the over and into the light Nikio bit, happens now. That's one thing then, the throw. And slowly, now, you start the rounding off. So by the time I'm here, he's falling. And my arm doesn't go behind my head, even on a much shorter person. This is a disaster. That's suicide. You can say, keep it where you can see it. Only I've said that before, and then we get this. You'd be surprised how often I see that. So, but see, it's there. It has to be. And then they're vulnerable all the way, and the balance is broken. See, it breaks here. And I'm keeping it broken. All the way in. That's what makes it good technique. And they can destroy them at any point. You know, off. And it's therefore powerful. Yes. Your ability to do this is reflected by your rank, which gives me great satisfaction to think that, because that means our ranking system is right. You know, more difficult ideas are better done by more experienced people. Oh, fine. Let's try and think like this. Now, the body starts to round now. It doesn't wait till now. Here. So the moment I start the turn, I'm already. It's a rotating rounding, if such words help. By the time I'm round, I'm down. Just think about it. Can you hold much weight hanging on there? Just weight alone. We're going to take you down. If his body's down there somewhere, how far can I go now? I can't go any further than that. Without falling or turning into it or something. And if I wait till he's there, I can be awkward. There's solutions to that. There's no need for them if you're already around. I was like Yamagi's way, which he sometimes does to show this. Then you don't have any problem. You break his arm and throw him with a broken arm. He does a few techniques like that, which he learned from a younger scientist. Yeah, those amuse me, those techniques. I showed one of them when I taught in Italy. Paolo was wagging his finger at me. I did this. So I compromised and did another one in the same pattern. Yes. Don't worry about all these different points and integrating them. They're there to be learned. They're in the dojo. They're there to be learned. Nobody cracks it first time. Nobody. Nobody cracks it 50th time. they're there to be learned. So if you feel a bit frustrated, that's good in a way, but when you get a bit frustrated in yourself, slow down and just work on one point at a time. And you can't build all those bits that we discussed this morning all at once. That's just reality. We could just do it in a sort of quick and sloppy manner and not really learn very much, apart from how to run around and sweat. Saito Sensei was good on that. When the training got a bit like that, he used to say, you don't need an 8 Dan to teach you to sweat. Now, I can't claim to be vaguely at that level, but you don't even need me to teach you to sweat. I mean, it's got its place, and sometimes he would let it happen, but he wouldn't let it happen with a lot of bad technique. Because you need spirit and energy and vigour. Which is why the Kian and the full Kokyu always comes into it. But I've got to put it out now because my hips are getting worse and my knees are getting worse. It's 8 years since the NHS wanted me to have a hip replacement. And I've been doing all right since then. It won't last forever. So, don't miss any more practices. Now we change it very slightly. That's better. Okay. Now, the old days, SHIHO NAGE was done like this. Something like that. This was only something that Saito Sensei used to say. But he said that required a lot of power. So Sensei changed it to side entry. If you misunderstand and lead off the front foot, you made yourself open because he's on balance. He can sweep my leg, kick me, because he's too comfortable. So, speed alone isn't the solution. Don't listen when you're the uki. Hey! So by the time I come across, he's bent. So what we did in the Kihon is 1, 2, 3 goes to 1. Hey! You mustn't go to that because he's too comfortable there. By the time I make my move across, which will be now, I want in this position for the emoto. It's important. Any judoka, so I've been told, as soon as you see a foot coming across the front of you, no, the other foot. They're just disciplined leg sweep. They do it better than that. There's a bit more to it than that. I don't really know anything about it. But they can create a throw from that, sweeping the leg. Right, so, the old style, so you had the centre, you had it lifted before you came in. We still do that by doing Hanmi Handachi. One of the Hanmi Handachis is done like that. Only a few of us misunderstood, it's still on the side, not straight across. Let's just highlight one thing. On the Kihon.
Hey!
Basic, solid. It's hardly any different Nagara, as he touches me, to control his arm, I make a sort of sandwich. Hey! So, as he's, no, just hold it. That's it. At this point, if I just do this, it won't affect him. So I use this hand to pull his hand into me. So I take control. Hey! There. But not by grabbing him. So I can't lead him like that. And I can't pull him like that. The two together, simultaneously. So there's a sort of trick to here and here, there's pressure. That pressure. And of course it's quite a surprising thing to do as well. Same, only different. I've got a good strong grip. This is possible, just until the grip is too strong. So that really needs to be a SHIHO Nagara option. And then we can watch it. And from there, also providing you keep the extension, don't make it ura by stepping back. Keep the extension. So they both begin the same way. One goes across, one goes round. Two sorts of hip now. And everyone knows this grip? No one's going to do that, are they? Oh, not a hip. Ura hip. That was the wrong one. Here. The other point, for those of you who are familiar with the kendo rehearsal with it, the secret, the really good secret now, which is true all the way through, this foot doesn't land. If you not practice with a cane, you'll find this virtually impossible. The hips drive the foot, across it goes, and we switch. We switch in the air. And here, his foot goes back, and we switch in the air before it lands. Be respectful of your partner's arms. But that gives you devastating SHIHO Nage. And that coupled with smallness, right? Right. I know we've overrun a bit, but if we don't do these now, we won't do them. Now, this one, I'm not going to do that one, but There are a couple of others from this, well, not from there, but from there. One is to actually turn all the way and step forward, which some people already do. That is a complete anchor. But it's okay, well I say it's okay. It's not a motte or ura. Right? At this point, you step that way. That's relatively straightforward. And it's because SHIHO NAGE, one of its aspects is to throw anywhere you want, any point of the compass, any number of degrees. There's different ways you can do it. So from here, now you can take a step forward. That gives you a long draw. It's half a motte, half a. There's another one, which is you just go here. A tiny one. You won't probably be able to do that. But actually, you can do it without the side step. That's pure hip one. Then slow. Out, turn the hip. In, turn. Up and round. Hardly any footwork. I showed this about 8 years ago. Small, tight, fast, very effective. If you've done masses of the other stuff, you can do it. You might like to just try it. As a new yes. All in the hips. That bit, this bit, this bit. If you get it in the hips, you get in a modest balance break, because you're not leaning them out very far. But see how fast it is. With virtually no footwork at all. No footwork, only hip work. Hip, hip. The only bit of footwork is there, virtually on the spot. Not on the spot, like this. So if you look at his centre, I'm still occupying his centre. It's a balance break. If you have to define it, I'd say you've knocked him off his centre. So the bigger the better, really. But even if it's only a little, there. That's taken his attention. Tohei used to say, taking his mind. Taking his mind. Hey, give those two a try, and we'll investigate Leo's. Oh, nice.
Yes, nice.
The cross bit on this one is replaced by that. Which, if you go back to the old style technique, done that way. So you can't do it like that, because it's going to go way behind your head. So you drive up, and then turn under it. Up. Oh, puzzled look on faces. Before, we were doing a cross. But if we want to really tighten it down, we change the angle to up, which also brings the hand as high as I'm going to get it, short of coming off the floor or developing telescopic arms. I can go under there. But I can never go under there. I have to do something different. That's a very advanced and requires millions of the predecessor techniques. Ironically, some of the less practiced of you will do it very well. Ironically, it's not right. That defeats all the theory. Yes. And the wheel comes full circle, practicing at the end what we did at the beginning. Hey. Remember the importance of the torso angle. And here, not there. If she tries to sit up now, come on, push. She's pushing straight into my centre. Here. Hey. The Tyler Hancock beginning doesn't have to always be all three, although I tend to always do it. Sometimes Saito Sensei would do only the Kihon. That was O-Sensei's. The Kihon should always be there. It doesn't have to be all three. And the three we do, there are others as well. Hey! 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 Nice. Yeah. So should my. Hey. So we don't have to be diving around when you're doing it individually. You may be able to take Ushiro Okemi or no Okemi. Ushiro possible. Emphasis. Moving to the side, imperceptibly. That's to say, strong please, strong there. Not stepping, gliding, hip feeling as if cutting. See, if he's holding me strong and you step, you get kind of stuck. But when you treat it as if you're holding a ken and hey, and tilt your shoulders, tilt what he's holding as you do it, not 1, 2. And combine that with this and this. Bring it to your centre. Don't do it out there. So, and step in. One piece. Hey! 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 Thank you, Keith. This part has that feeling in it. So the two things happen together. You tilt and this hand comes over and drops, but it's your body that drops. See its effect, and he's very vulnerable now. Right? And you can come like this or here. Body comes in. Here's the technique. And you've got a bit of a sort of and then strong, 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 strong. Flail, nothing will happen. Right, so soft. Strong, strong, strong. As you go to, you're tilting him, you're tilting yourself to tilt him, and you're extending him as you go to the side. That weakens him. That weakens him more. That. And then this. It happens pretty quickly. But it does all have to happen. Hey! It's not 1, 2, 3 too much. Never is. Certainly not that before you begin. So you imagine he's going to do a headbutt or he's going to knee you. His mate's going to stick something in you. Say, hey! And then you step into his butt. I don't often go into this, but Aikido is martial art. People who don't know anything about Aikido, many Aikido practitioners don't know something very basic, which is the uki, the one who receives your technique, the person with whom you train. So it's not self-defense, fighting with the person. To turn the techniques into oyowaza, applied technique, well, there are additional points. Oh, Sensei said in practice Aikido is 99% atemi. You can only do Aikido technique on a fellow Aikidoka, an uki, who is training with you. So if Yasmina was just some yob who grabs my shoulders, and she grabs them incorrectly, I can just punch her in the throat, no problem. You must grab the outside of the roots of the arm. That's what's meant by the shoulders. And if I try to just punch her, she can knock my arm to the side. No, keep a grip. And just go on. Yeah. If I try to headbutt her first, no. She's kokyu. If I left my leg, she pulls me down. So I need an Aikido move. Now that would do. The tilt and the punch, that would do. Hey! That'll do. Well, I can use the other leg as well. Yeah.
Hey.
That's you could kill someone rather easily like that. They're just possibilities. Because you create openings if you do the Aikido correctly. The presentation of yourself, sliding, the catching the balance, the tilt. You've created lots of options. There's no set piece as to what you might do. I just punch you in the ribs. You don't have to make a fuss about it. Yeah. Ribs, throat, knee. Beautiful, huh? A lot of Aikidokas aren't interested in that, and why should they be? But in order to do it well, it's good to understand a little bit more about the martial arts side of it, how you might use it. Because then you can see, oh yeah, I'm setting up openings and I'm not doing openings. That's all I really want to say. So, you know, I saw one or two. If I, for example, step the wrong side, then I've left my centre line right open, haven't I? Yeah. So, you know, there's dead side. and there's vulnerabilities. That's just an aside. It helps you to understand what's... Because if you say, I don't do it as a martial art, you can do whatever you like. Turn it into gymnastic dance, which many dojos do. Most dojos do. That's what Saito Sensei said. Become gymnastic dance. Someone practicing here 18 months ago, and we were giving this up, they were going to use the Ki Aikido. She said, because I said to Sensei, he can do the technique against a punch when he starts with his eyes closed and he can feel it coming. So I'd love him to come here and show me against my punch. I'd like to experience that. I'm still waiting, because I'll guarantee, because I won't go like that. I might go like that. I'd probably try not to hit him if he did come. But he hasn't come, I suppose he will. Okay, anyway, next technique.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Hi.
So it's different footwork now, because I'm blending there. I'm still tilting. I'm still dropping the front arm and completing it with the rear arm.
Hi.
Nice high fall on that side next time. Now do that the other side. Good, well done. This has its benefits, you see. Two groups. And that throw, please. Everyone all right with the Kemi? Not everyone.
No.
How many not? How many? So we have any. Everyone all right who's falling? Everyone all right who's not falling? No, I mean, everyone all right? Kokyu in your shoulders. You need a firm base. Don't neglect the ki. Even if you're not thrown. When you're not thrown, you don't have to go as close to the margin as possible. The uki that's staggering all over the place is probably worse off than one who's taking in the kemi when he doesn't want to. So if I'm not throwing, who's not falling? Danny. Come on. I'm not throwing, Danny. Hey. You don't have to run. Just move up and take me. Hey. I can feel it. But I'm not making him go half climb across the room. Because doing this kind of thing is probably worse than doing an ukemi, staggering back. It doesn't have to go as near as possible. You just have to train so you can feel what's going on. Just so as you feel it. And if you got this, and this, and avoiding... So, give us space, Danny. Hey! Hey! Don't run into the ukemi. Moving smoothly and take me, and I have a problem of blending and accelerating. Aye! So it's jutai level. The grip is developing. Flexible level. Can't do it too soon. Do it too soon. Really, no connection. As the grip is before it's strong, that's all. Hey! Even if it is strong. See, that's anticipating the ukemi. It's still strong. This technique is the same, even if it's been strong. Putting the kokyu in your shoulders. And we can add the element of timing. And just, you're anticipating your ukemi more than taking hold of me in the throat. Okay, but over this side, you know, you can put up the upper leg with this back. You don't need to do any more than that to get the feeling of it. And if that is all he can do, that's fine. And what can we do? Train till we're cripples and then give up? Not well, no, seriously. You can continue Aikido in spite of injuries and age and all the usual things that stop you. But you have to be willing to modify things a little bit. But you can train without ukemi, I'm saying. Not beyond. Not stumbling all over the place instead of ukemi. That's not training without ukemi. That's training awkwardly. Alright, let's enjoy it. Good. Can I have an uninjured, please? Go on, Bouncy. Now we'll start. Now we've blended what we were just doing with the smaller squats. SHIHO NAGE.
Okay.
SHIHO NAGE. The blend's in the feeling. I didn't want that to anyway. So here. There's always a problem. Oh, you can't keep my grip. That will be my fault. If I do the technique, she couldn't keep her grip. Of course not, her arms aren't that long. At this point you have to keep it small. And then that leg moves enough to draw that shoulder under, and then that's the feeling of the throw we were just doing. I'm feeling the both of throws.
Okay.
Fighting wise, that will do the trick probably. Do not, strong as you can still, do not walk. You're completely stuck. Turn your hips as you drop your head and come across. Do not droop where you can be knee in place. So this tilt goes there. Under. Should be enough to get your teeth into. I think actually so Simon takes hold of me and he gives me a push. Oh, that wasn't what I meant. That would be a possibility, but I was combining them. So with that push, this is positively the love. So I'm absorbing his take or absorbing the push. interestingly, if he grabs me and tries to pull me into a headbutt, it still works the same way. It's not so logical that way. When he pushes you, you can see turn. But also, if he pulls you, it's a slightly different turn. It's turning in rather than turning out. Don't worry about that last one. It's all getting a bit too much for the end of the day. Push. Why do you really need the push? Is a question. Well, you wouldn't choose to do this technique. You're unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. If you did this technique to project him forward, and you haven't thrown him, we did before, then that's lying there in wait. But you can't really do it, Kino Nagara, without him having some purchase on you. Because you're not going to get any lead. Well, it's just possible. We're combining one of the things we did earlier with the SHIHO NAGE. What? The icing on the cake. Anyone puzzled? No? Well, I'll stand back and watch then. See if I can learn. Damn, which must not happen. Push, you turn. If you respond to the push by moving that way, she's going to come straight at me. Push me over, butt me, knee me. To the side. It must be to the side. She pulls me to the side. Something you could show to the beginners. Why do we do what Andy Murdoch thought of for years? He called it the turn around the handy thing. What's the point of it? Someone else said the same thing to me. Spent years doing Taino Henko. Why do we do Taino Henko? What's our fault? Those of us who communicate Aikido for not giving some reasons. Why do we do Taino Henko? Well, because so often in Aikido we turn. There are techniques where we turn. But there are evasions. One I always think of is rather sweet. She grabs me around the throat, both hands, that sort of, go on, squeeze on. When you turn, it's gone. I mean, if you wait too long, it won't go. And if she comes up and I mean, when they come through the door, they all get in their mind this self-defense concept. No matter what they'll say, they won't admit to it quite often. It's always lurking there. Except for the ones who think Aikido is actually meditation. So, he grabs my lapels, she pushes you. Oh, you turn. Very, very effective. Useful evasion. Punches me. Hey, turn. Not full turn, but the time the hand gives you that basic skill. Turning. You need to show this to people. Friends are given to do it, but why you bother with it? Because of all the techniques that involve turning. So we're always practicing a turn at the start and stability. You can say a lot more about Taino Henko, but those things, stability and the turn. I mean, we're talking about esoterics of blending and so on. Those people rarely listen. Limited as to what you actually say. At which point I will shut up. And
Hai.
turn. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. She goes backwards. No problem. It's asking for trouble. Even if you're sparring and someone throws a punch at you and you step away to find it, they just come in with another one and another one. Some boxers are taught you don't. You can withdraw, but you have only like limited amount. That's in the ring. Sooner or later you hit the ropes. And then the expression on the ropes, you can't go back anymore, the very thing you've been regarding for your defence. And if you get to the ropes, you know what you're taught? Go sideways. The Saito sensei used to do this thing. Come on, Matthew. Hold my shoulders. Both of you push me to the wall. Stuck against the wall. And so he used to show that almost every practice, as long as there was an appropriate wall. So much. So, what time did I say we were stopping?
4:30.
The clock must be wrong. A few more Kino Nagara Uras thinking of not stepping back. Printed.
Det var